These content creators who are telling you that you're a bad person for not agreeing with them care so much more about what society thinks of them than the success of Battlefield. What's up, guys? This is Hit You Good, your favorite all-American freedom-loving gamer. And today, we're talking about a controversy in the Battlefield community that's getting a little bit out of hand, and it's got me just a little bit puzzled. It's over whether or not DICE refrained from including women and female voice lines in the next Battlefield game. Now, I don't think this is a huge deal. There's plenty of other things to worry about in Battlefield, such as, will the game have a functioning scoreboard at launch? Will the class system be balanced? Will there be a server browser? Will the game even work on launch day? But many virtue signaling content creators out there are losing their freaking minds over this issue. And no, they're not advocating to take women out of the game. They're viscerally angry that people even think women shouldn't be on the front lines in a Battlefield game. I'm more intrigued by this immune system response from these guys and just how much they want women in the game, or to be specific, want to fight people who don't. It's truly odd that they want to die on this hill. Now, real quick, just a reminder, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave me some comments below telling me what you think about this specific controversy going on in the early stages of development for Battlefield. And also, you can be one of Hitch's heroes by clicking that join button and getting access to extra emojis and badges during our live streams. But for now, let's get back to the argument. King Zeus, Danny on PC for sure. I mean, holy crap, that guy makes more posts being triggered by Trump than about video games nowadays. Enders, who is openly trying to fight people about it, and X Factor, well, he advocated against the First Amendment last year, so I'm not really surprised. And I did talk to him about this whole gender thing on X.
Nothing bad happened? You didn't wreck it? You didn't hit anybody? You didn't run anybody over? You didn't get a speeding ticket? Wait, Jeffy, why are you making that face? Jeffy, did you get a speeding ticket?
So really, I want to do a few things in this video, and that's A, honestly make fun of those like X Factor and Enders who just love white knighting to allow women in the game when a vast majority of Battlefield players are indeed men, and B, talk about the pragmatic reasons why people don't want women in the game. And no, it doesn't have anything to do with sexism or bigotry. Enders has posted about this multiple times, and I guess maybe he's just trying to bait people into an argument to raise his engagement on X and then showcase how brave and woke he is. And he's got a weird fascination with this meme right here. And I really don't see anything wrong with being one of these guys in the picture, but to say there's a problem with it is edgy, I guess. I'm not sure. So Enders, you got to realize, bud, that there's a reason that these guys are wearing sunglasses and they're driving in their truck, because first off, they actually have to drive to work like most Americans do, and B, they actually see the sunlight from time to time.
Is blowing a situation completely out of proportion, misrepresenting
The beacons are lit! Gondor calls for aid! Yes, if I'm gonna make that joke, I need to change some stuff here. There we go.
That's it.
Check out Julio Iglesias.
Pretty.
He says the fact this pisses people off is comical. And I said the fact that you're posting about it again is comical. And he's like, mad? You mad, bro? Huh? You wanna do something about it? You mad? Are you triggered?
Come on, cry!
But for real, it's really the same thing that we see in any social issue like this. The famous ones in the community, the quote-unquote celebrities, they try to tell the rest of society how to live and how awful the rest of society is if they don't agree with them.
Don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world.
I've seen it multiple times. X Factor, and especially Danny on PC, and several others, they all do this. You don't align with what we believe? Well, we can't just agree to disagree. You are a misogynistic, sexist, bigoted pile of trash.
You are doomed.
Meanwhile, the majority of the player base really doesn't want female soldiers in their Battlefield game. I've seen even women make these comments. And I ran a poll just on my channel just to see, and it's constantly between 78 and 80% who don't want women in the game. So if the Battlefield community is as alpha as the beta bitch soy boys claim it is, let's just calm down. Talk like adults and look at why people don't want women in the games. And later, I do want to revisit, so hang around for a little while, okay? We got some good stuff coming up. I do want to revisit why this is a sore topic amongst the entire base, but for now, let's look at the pragmatic reasons first. I do want to give a shout out to Ghost Gaming. He recently just did a video on this particular topic, and he did not degrade anyone on either side. I will put a link down below, but I suggest go hop onto his channel and listen to what he has to say on the matter, because he wasn't acting like a 5-year-old this whole time. So kudos to him. First off, the main argument is that women's screams ruin immersion. That's my argument. And you know, a large number of Battlefield players are probably playing games to get away from women screaming, right? Damn. Danny is gonna have a damn duck over that. But immersion is really my biggest thing regarding this. Female characters simply don't fit the franchise. Battlefield was built on the premise of being a faceless, nameless soldier. You die, you respawn. You are one soldier of hundreds of thousands, and you are largely expendable. You're not some blue-haired college student with quirky, super empowering, and brave voice lines that signed up to the military and wants to spread their gayness across the battlefield. Now, for Fortnite, sure, absolutely. It fits the aesthetic and it doesn't violate it one way or the other. In another, let's say even Helldivers, yes, it makes sense there too. It's a little more lighthearted game. Super Earth is sending anyone and everyone they can to go fight the bugs, the bots, the Illuminate. But Battlefield is a little more grounded in reality, and it's a little more gritty than that. Therefore, women shrieking in combat breaks that immersion. And detractors of this logic will say that, well, there's women fighting in Ukraine, or there was that one time this one woman did something heroic in a war, or there was this platoon of women who took up arms to do X, Y, and Z. And while we're on the subject, I have to say that there are intrinsic differences between men and women, okay? Men are usually better suited, or always, I think, better suited to serve on the front lines of a battlefield, while women are not. Now, women can do certain things that men can't do, and men can do things that women can't do. Men are normally better at honing in on one specific thing and being masters of their craft in that thing. Meanwhile, women are very good multitaskers. They help keep the world go round because, sadly, most men, including myself, can't focus on more than one thing at a time. And not to mention, women have an intrinsic value when they are birthed into this world because they have the ability to create life from themselves, which is a miracle in itself. And for some reason, the whole feminist, the woke movement has told us to stop celebrating these differences. And if you do, you're a misogynist, you're sexist. But guess what? These differences are wonderful and they need to be celebrated. But I digress. I did go to Grok and poked around a little bit, and guess what I found? I asked Grok what the ratio of men to women is on the battlefield in the modern era of war, so let's say the last 200 years, and a rough estimate was given that a whopping 100,000 women have served in frontline combat over the course of the last 200 years. It also stated that 50 million men also served on the front line. So with 49.9 million more men than women serving, this argument is not really about fair representation. It's about a narrative. The next argument against this is, well, Battlefield was never a war sim. If you want that, you need to go play Arma 3. But I'm not looking for a battle simulator. I'm not looking for a war simulator. I'm looking for Battlefield, which in the past, for the most part, has kept a nominal amount of realism versus arcadiness. The fallacy they're trying to present is that we want realism, and that's not really the case because, believe me, I understand that it's not really a realistic thing to shock someone back to life with defibs who was just seconds ago turned into baloney mist from a tank Sabo round. But here's the deal, okay? And this is something I want to hone in on. There is a difference between realism and immersion. And hearing women screaming on the battlefield is not only harmful for immersion, but for guys and even girls, it's actually a little bit unsettling. I don't get off on hearing girls screaming unless it's your mom, okay? We want immersion. They want to push an agenda. Beyond that, I've also heard complaints that the female hitbox is smaller than the male characters, so yes, it does offer a tactical advantage to run female characters, creating a balance issue in the game. And let me tell you, not wanting a balance issue in the game is not based on misogyny, it's not based on bigotry or sexism, it's based on fact and preference. If you're wondering why this is a sore subject, we're about to get in the meat of this, okay? So hang around. If you're wondering why this is a sore subject among some of these beta males, that they're so viscerally responding to people wanting women out of the game, and with women largely carrying even less than they are, real feminine women anyways, this whole thing kind of originated with Battlefield 5, and there were women running around in a World War II game with prosthetic limbs. It ruined immersion. Now, I can understand, and I'll see this, that in a modern shooter like the next Battlefield, it's not really quite as abrasive to have women in the game as it was the World War II shooter, and it makes it not quite as big a deal as Enders, Danny, and X are making out to be. But just like then, back in Battlefield 5, that wasn't the argument DICE pushed. Asshat of the decade, Patrick Soderlund, had to make this big emotional appeal, saying his daughter, who plays Fortnite, went to him and she asked, I imagine her rubbing her eyes as she wakes up in the middle of the night, Daddy, why is everyone so angry? I can play as a girl in Fortnite, but I can't play as one in Battlefield. How come? I'll take 10,000 for things that never happened there, Alex. And of course, afterwards, Soderlund told people, if you don't like it, don't buy the game. And guess what? We didn't. Soderlund then doubles down on the fan base, creating this big everyone's Battlefield event that had phrases like white men and feminazis are trying to rewrite history all over their banners for the event, openly mocking and jeering at a majority of the player base. See, this is what wokeism does. These content creators telling you that you're a bad person for not agreeing with them care more about what society thinks of them and less about Battlefield success. Fun be damned, you will bow down to the narrative. And if there's any emotion on my side of the argument, this is why. For the last decade, people like X Factor and Danny on PC have told you that you don't belong and your opinion doesn't matter. And I've seen it in their X posts all the time. But their side of the aisle has canceled people. They have ruined people's careers. They've fired them if they didn't want to take a shot from the government. They've affected their ability to put food on the table for people for something as simple as an opinion or a joke. And if you don't agree with them, you don't belong in their society. You don't matter as a person. You are a second-class citizen. So listen, whether you agree or not that women should be in the next Battlefield game, it's your preference. And Enders doesn't get to decide if you get to play the game or not. There's going to be plenty of things in the game that we don't like. And if you're a content creator that's worried about taking a stance on, this minuscule argument, or just a regular person that's posting on X, be vocal, be heard, and don't let these quote-unquote celebrities of the franchise tell you that you're a bad person or that you don't matter. In fact, you know what? Go drop a post on Danny on PC's X account letting him know that Christ is king, Trump is president, and women don't belong on the front lines of war or a Battlefield game. This is Hitchy Good, your favorite all-American freedom-loving gamer, saying God bless, and we'll catch you next time.